Welcome again to another episode of Antonia Unfiltered. Today's topic is, why is he hiding behind silence during tough times? All right, let's talk unfiltered for a moment because silence has been costing us clarity. Yes, silence during hard times is one of the most misunderstood things in relationship. And some people call it space. Some call it maturity. Some say, I just need space. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes silence is avoidance. Sometimes it controls. Sometimes it's just a way of disappearing instead of actually showing up or communicating. So the real question isn't whether silence is good or bad. The deeper question is this: why is he hiding behind silence when things get tough? That's the deeper question. Because silence is not automatically strength, just so you know. It is not automatically being emotionally intelligent. No, it's not. Yeah, silence sometimes can be thoughtful, a time to reflect. It can be regulating. It can mean that someone is taking a moment to kind of ground themselves or reflect on their experiences. It can also be refusal to engage emotionally. Mhm. And what matters isn't the quiet itself, is the intention behind it. Is this the question that is the silence creating a space so someone else can return more present? Or is it creating distance so they don't have to deal with what's uncomfortable? That should be the question. When emotion gets hard, some people choose not to argue. That's understandable. What they do, they kind of withdraw, they stop responding, and then they stop engaging. Sometimes they go emotionally flat, not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to stay present. Mhm. Especially when they are feeling overwhelmed or being exposed. Let me repeat that. It's because they don't know how to stay present without feeling overwhelmed or exposed. So silence at that time becomes a shield, becomes a comfort zone for them. They kind of barricade themselves from the real truth and the presence. It becomes a way to kind of protect themselves from emotions they were never taught on how to manage or hold. And here's the part people don't always want to name. Silence can turn into a form of control. Because when someone withholds communication, then they withhold reassurance, withholds their presence, especially during difficult moments, because they choose not to raise their voice. They just disappear. And then they shift the power because now the other person is left holding everything, holding the weight, holding the uncertainty, the emotional load, all alone. And over time, that does something to a relationship. The silent communication, it does something to a relationship. When silence becomes the default response to conflict or to challenge or challenges, truth starts to erode quietly. Then what the other person does is that they stop reaching out. They stop sharing. They stop taking risks for the other person or for their vulnerabilities. Not because they have stopped caring, but because they have learned that openness will be met with distance from their partner. And what you can't do with that, you can't build intimacy with someone who consistently lives emotionally when things start to matter. And when a woman is met with silence during hard moments, something inside her shifts. She doesn't get loud. She doesn't get dramatic. She becomes more self reliant. Not because she wants to, but because she has to. Silence forces her to become independent in places where partnership should exist. So here's an honest reflection for someone listening. Are you using silence to regulate or to avoid accountability? Do you pause so you can return grounded or so you can escape discomfort? Is that why you pause? Or you pause to return more regulated and grounded? These are two, you choose which one you do at that time. Because emotional maturity doesn't disappear when things get hard. It shows up, it kind of exposes itself. It's not about shaming silence. It's about understanding it and how and when to use it. Hard conversations doesn't require perfection. They require presence. You got to be present. You have to communicate. You have to open up. Yeah, that's why leadership in relationship shouldn't be loud. It should be available, like present right there. Truth doesn't attack. Truth clarifies. So sit with what came up today for you. Because when silence becomes a pattern, it usually points to something deeper, which is a fractured relationship. And that's going to be our next topic. All right. So if this resonated, don't rush past it. Like it, save it, share it, and follow for what comes next. Stay grounded.